All right, we are live. What's going on, fellow traders? Hope everybody had a blessed weekend and happy Father's Day to all the fellow dads out there. And hope everybody just had a great day today. Let me get this tweeted out here. Good. Yeah, so I'm really pumped about this week. We've got a lot of fun stuff going on. The newsletter private service is about to get an upgrade. It's about to get really interesting. So I'm excited about PX. Let's go here. Let me just make sure everything is coming through. I'm going to detach this right now. It should be okay. Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to make this just regular purple. Because I've got, I upgraded my system, so I've got an extra monitor, so I'm trying to click between them, and I don't want it to necessarily pull up every chart so much. So, good. All right. Whoa. Okay, so good. So here we are. So SPX on the monthly, so far I moved, but really didn't get much, right? So I mean, I guess probabilistically we had a little bit of follow through, but not very much, right? Then we came right back in. And we've already retraced over 50% of the prior range. So that kind of puts us in a bullish situation. But last week got really interesting because that whole move that we saw that came up through the month here was mostly done. Through the first week, right? Last week. So what we did, what happened there is we tried to break down through the cloud, failed, and then that was really the key right here is when we broke out on the weekly chart here. So that gave a really big push this week. Whenever you have a big move like that, it's you can anticipate. You guys will see me tweet it a lot. Well, big move last week, probably pause week this week or some consolidation, and that's pretty much just what happens, right? So because it runs out of energy, right? I mean, it's just not this infinite flow of money that goes in and continues to push, right? So here we have this push up, and then we paused last week, right? And so you can see I got a little bull flag kind of drawn right over that, and we'll take a look at that on the daily in a second. So we might get a measured move up. That is one distinct possibility. Now it also could be a reversal doji, right? So this is kind of like a hammer, but it ended up being sort of like a northern doji after a decent move here, and then pulled back after it. So are we going to get that pullback again, retest those crazy open gap levels here around the mid Bollinger Band, or are we going to get that push to the upper Bollinger Band? So you can even see here, right? Big bar, kind of a pause bar. I mean, it's still a pretty big bar, but kind of a pause bar, and then that boom, measured move down, right? And so you see that a lot, big move, right? Pause, and then another move. So that is a possibility this week. Again, we might get, two follow-throughs, right? So here, you had that big move up, pause, move, so that is a possibility too. This week, should be full of interesting things, right? Fireworks and all that stuff, right? We have the Fed on Wednesday, and then, of course, we have quadruple witching on Friday. So there's going to be some market shenanigans towards the end of the week. There's going to be Fed shenanigans in the middle of the week, and with not a lot of earnings coming out, kind of at their disposal, right? What they're going to do. So, but we'll just trade it the best we can. Futures are up. Futures are green right now. So we'll see if that gets followed through in the morning. We'll take a look at those charts later, throughout the evening and kind of see how that goes. All right, good stuff. So just a quick review of the price action on Friday. Let me pull up. Yeah, so here's the 14 chart right here. So let me zoom in there on Friday's action. So it was a little bit of a choppy day. We had some pretty good trade. Actually, we only did one trade in the private Twitter feed. We did Nvidia, which was nice. It was our trade of the week, and we ended up scraping out some profit on that on Friday. A few cool, interesting moves happened. The open yesterday, we traded live at the open, and I'm actually going to start doing that more. Just making it accessible to the Positive Trends newsletter subscribers, and eventually it's going to be an upgrade. Not. Anybody who's currently a newsletter subscriber is going to, be grandfathered into the new program. But eventually, I'm going to separate, the service, to the day trading and the live streams and a lot of other cool stuff I'm going to do is going to be, kind of separate. So that's going to happen July 1st. So get in while you can, while the discount is still good. But anyway, so we looked at this. We looked at the open. It was pretty choppy, right? So it was really tough to trade here. This was concerning, right? We had a upper shadow. I mean, to me, this is really bearish, right? That looking, it's failing to get over this with upper shadows, and you look for a push down. It just got really tough with the, we had a downward trend. It was tough. It never got follow through. So, it pushed there. Then, of course, bounced off the prior day's lows. And this is a key reversal right here off the R1. I was actually busy looking at the Chewy IPO at the time, and so the market just went ahead and did this. There's no reason for me to be looking at Chewy. I wasn't even planning on trading it. It's just one of those things. It's interesting to look at IPOs. But anyway. So reverses off of R1, right? The monthly R1 level, and all these levels are provided to newsletter subscribers. Pushes off the R1 and then gives you goes right to the volumetric level again, and then bounces up, right? So this is a key reversal. Hey guys, these patterns set up all the time, right? So the bump and run that we did, right? So this is your regular, essentially 30 degrees. It's a little bit steeper, but 30 degree. Then you get your run. Right, so it comes down, comes to the trend line, bounced off of it the first time, failed to get back over the prior day's close, and then flushed right into the close. So, looked really bearish, to the close, and of course the market's gonna be gapping up. So anybody who shorted at the close on Friday is gonna be, looking to cover at the open. So it might get a little bit of a push at the open on Monday. Other than that, big term, global perspective. We've got our back here, and then kind of chopped around and then worked its way all the way back up, double top on the high of the channel, back down to the bottom of the channel, test, retest, and then down, right? So that gave us a big pitchfork, and then now we're working through 2019 after the Christmas reversal there. So it kind of tagged an all-time high and then back down, and now we're back here. So this right here, this line right here, this yellow line, this is the reaction line, right? So here's your Andrews action, right? Because we go through major pivot, and it's projected off of this is your mirror line, right? Your sort of your equidistant line over, and so we're right at that level again. So we'll see how this is handling. Right now it looks like it's flagging right here. So again, if it pops, we might set all-time highs, kind of going forward. So that's kind of where we're at this point. And so we're just gonna keep an eye on that and see, and we'll trade our levels as we see that we need to. So good. So that being said, so today I want to start kind of a series. I'm really excited about this week. Tomorrow we've got Trader Amick, or techie investor Trader Amick is going to be live tomorrow night, and he's going to show some really great techniques on trading, on swing trading. He is literally one of the best traders I've ever seen on swing trading. So he's going to go through some of his methodologies. He's going to go through some charts. He might even take some chart requests. And I've just seen him so consistent. And he posts his his P&L statement where he shows how well he's done, or his percentages, how well he's done with his trades, and he's just so consistent over time. It's great, and he's got a real easy methodology, and it's great because we're going to tie in this week too. Not everybody can trade full time, so we look at potentially. We can use swing trading to trade while we're at work, right? So it's but we have to have knowledge, right? And you can't just jump into it, guys, because CNBC is 10,000. Everybody gets really hyped up here, and then you go long, and then you're stuck, all the way down here. So that is the key with swing trading. So that is why. Am I live? Are we good? Sorry if I lost you guys. It looks like it's okay. Sorry, upgrade system. So I've got like a whole thing going on here. So anyway, so that's the idea of swing trading. So today, pretty much what I want to talk about is just in general what it is. Okay, so swing trading is when you trade, right? A stock or an index, and the plan is to hold it for at least a week, right, and possibly more, right? So, or within a week and possibly more. A lot of times these days, with the way the market volatility has been, it's been like a day or two, try to take some profits out of it and move. But the intention of swing trade is not to trade intraday. It's at least to hold it overnight, one night, right? And then and possibly longer, so you can maximize on the biggest possible gain of the movement of a stock or index, right? And so that is what it is, right? And so the idea is that we want to find levels and find place that makes sense to potentially go long and to or to short, swing short at those key levels. So we're going to talk about all this week. So tomorrow we got Trader Amick coming in. He's going to go over his methodologies. I think Tuesday we're going to go back over Elliott Wave a little bit and look at some of those methods. We're going to talk about swinging options, right? And then we're going to wrap it up this week, on Thursday, and talk about some other just kind of finish everything off by talking about picking strategically planning and things like that. So today I just kind of wanted to define that. There's a couple methods that we could do, and what I like to do is a couple things. And when swing trading, a couple things that I look at that are really key is different setups, right? And so anybody who is subscribed to the newsletter knows about in his book. how to make profits trading commodities, right? And it's it talks about the quarterly chart, and it's really, really important, right? So we look at this in the newsletter a lot. And it gives you key levels. And as you get familiar with candlesticks, and you guys, if you're new to watching, gosh, I'm really sorry if this is getting laggy. I need to, yeah. Sorry if it's a little bit laggy. I need to figure out what's going on with that. Why the stream isn't going so good. YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay, well, I really apologize if it's buffering, guys. I will look into that next time to see if we can get that a little bit clearer. But anyway, so he talks about the quarterly chart, and basically when you break the quarterly chart, right? So I have that, a whole video series or a whole video on candlesticks, and looking at those candlesticks and how they, what the percentages are and what the probability is that they move. And so, ultimately, again, we began with saying is that the breaks of, or the this candlestick right here was back in January of 2016. And so, gosh, I'm really sorry about this this streaming here. Oh, you're good? All good? We're still here? Okay, good. All right, good. All right, so back in 2016, we had this bar right here back in the first quarter of 2016. And so this is a very bullish bar, right? So before that, we had an inside bar, right? And so that kind of tried to break to the downside and failed. And so that gave us a really nice hammer that kind of showed those lows. So at this point of the prior, we had a higher high, higher low, and then things changed, right? It got red here, right? And then we look and see what it does, and then it breaks to the upside. Okay, fantastic. And then so far, all the way up here, there was no break to the downside, right? Until, right, we had that that huge, basically reversal that we looked at earlier. And so that is a significant thing to look at, right, when you are swinging, when you are looking to go long. What is the trend that you are in within the, the major time frames, right? So the quarterly is a great one to look at. And right now is really interesting where we are, right? We had an inside quarter last month, right, or last quarter, and now we have broken up. We started reclaiming this this prior quarter's prior quarter, and that's dangerous, right? This is a dangerous place to be, right? Because that could get a full reclaim of that whole length, right? We talked about on the index. So so we're in a very, very interesting area right here. So we have got 2 weeks left essentially in this quarter, and we'll see how this candle closes. If it closes with like a really big green hammer, a break to that to the upside. Let's see. Okay, then we go to the next biggest one. We go to the monthly. This is why I start, our sessions off when we talk about this. So, where are we at? Looking at swinging long term, but that's why we look at our, we drill down and we look at our candlesticks, right? Because trends change from the smallest time frame up. So impressed with his charts and ability. That can give you you're looking at holding something a little bit longer term. Maybe for definitely look at your weekly chart to make sense, right? Because you don't want to swing something going in. Make that up. Oh, I knows right now. So let me do that. That'll save some processing speed, and then I'll open them up later. 1 second. Okay, that should help a little bit. Sorry, guys. All right, so anyway, you look at Boeing right here, and you essentially have a bearish and an overbought condition. And so, now granted, the upper shadow didn't quite go over this upper shadow, but the real body completely can go with the prior real body, right? That's a warning sign to be like, hey, I don't want to be long in this, right? And you could even look at going short. And so, if that were a swing opportunity, right, over the weekend, this ended up closing like this. And so, that's one thing, and I know some people that had puts on over the weekend, and it ended up working out really well for them, despite the tragedy. So, that's just something to keep in mind. And, when you're swinging, is that you want to look at the larger term time frames to make sure that you're not going to get in a big mess, right? It's like, hey, Boeing's been going up. I want to swing this long, right? Well, maybe, before you do anything, always at least look at the weekly chart, right? The daily chart might have even had a good pattern. It might have had like a hammer or something. I think it did. I think it bounced, maybe a holy grail type setup. But these are just the considerations that you want to make when we're swinging. Anyway, kind of taking a little bit extra time than normal on that, but I just wanted to kind of introduce this topic, and I think tomorrow is going to be a really, really good session with Trader Amick at Techie Investor. And it's going to be great. So at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those into the chat window, and we'll get to those as many as we can. Try to wrap it before 10 o'clock so everyone can get a good night's sleep so we can have an awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. SMDC4S, happy Father's Day. Thank you so much. And any of the dads out there, happy Father's Day. So, it's great stuff. It's one of the best things ever. So, if not the. Anyway, so Harvey, what's going on? Good to see you. Nudie Poo, what's up? Hope you had a good weekend too. Jamie, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks Stacy, how's it going? Thank you. Happy Father's Day. Netfry, what's going on? Robin, how are you? Let's take a look at the QQQ. We can chart very similar to, which makes sense with all the semis with Broadcom, kind of bringing down, Nvidia and Intel and all that stuff. Kind of made their week a little bit worse, right? So futures are kind of going to do, and if we get over that level, the prior week's high, right? That's at 185.40. Then we might get that kind of tail fail type high, right? That 185.50 kind of area, right? So give kind of that look there. Let me give me 1 second. This might actually help a little bit if I go like this. Hold on 1 sec. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Anyway, so that's that. Let's take a look at DIS real quick. Through Zoom, their quality has been so good that I might use them as a broadcaster. They kind of finished with this spinning top. Just kind of got overbought on the RSI. So that could be pretty interesting. So. So good stuff. Session, what's going on? So Nike puts. Let's take a look. So let's take a look at Nike. Oh yeah, guys. So Nike. Look at this. This is a triangle. Just reminded me of that. So so another pause week, just like the indexes and all that stuff. But look what we got. This is gonna be great. Double inside day on Nike. Okay. So I'm sorry, double inside day. Yeah. So guys, please, check out my posts and all that stuff. The double inside day strategy. I've got a bunch of videos. If you just search my, kind of my video stream for double inside day, it's a great strategy. I love to use this. If we gap up tomorrow, right? Oftentimes we look for a reversal to reclaim that range, right? So even though the futures are up session, right? If you have puts, I'm not saying hold. I mean, obviously your risk threshold is your risk threshold and your stops, but it might be worth if you get out, if you gap up, and then look to re-enter as we come back through this range. I usually see double inside days at least reclaim halfway through the range and then push all the way through. So that's something that I'll look at trading tomorrow because Nike is is pretty fluid with the use. Just kind of follow that which way that goes. Spot. Let's take a look. Looks like has some potential for fall through the upside. RSI is not quite overbought yet, so a break over act. It's so nice. I'm going to add it to the game plan as a potential long. So 1 sec. Okay, so let me get this. Yeah, so very, very good. So I like that spot. Looks really good. Let me just add that on there. Okay, good. What else? PD working waves. PD. Am I looking at everything, or am I was that like an abbreviation? Possible wave 3. Careful of that. Right, it might hit the upper Bollinger Band and kind of come back if it's following that kind of Elliott wave. Snap. Oh, that's really interesting. I don't know why it says that. Maybe guys, let me move this over here. Dealing with some technical stuff. Okay, so maybe that will help a little bit. Okay, so there's Snap. All right, so good. And let's see. Oh, sorry, I didn't talk about Snap yet. So Snap is interesting. It's looking like it's kind of holding. It's got a lot of volume up here, a lot of volumetric support at this level. Just be careful with this bar. It's sort of like a hanging man top. It looks like it might even want to test kind of that 1334 level. Oh yeah, it's had like some big upgrade news recently. So just be careful on this one. In fact, I'm almost a little bit kind of a bearish kind of feel to it. So a lot of times these guys upgrade it so they can get a position to short it. So just be careful of that. AYX. Looks a lot like Snap, in a way. Very, very similar. Inside day, kind of that reversal bar the other day, and then kind of working its way. Let's go back to the our chart here. That's SPX on AYX. Oh, I know what I did because I messed all that stuff. Go back to 9. There we go. Yeah, so it looks like it could be flagging here. Remember, we looked at this kind of this upward trend line. It was starting to break down. This is your key box, failed to break down there. So now it's back over that trend line again. So if anything, it's flagging. Certainly that test of maybe like 100, could keep it holding there. So looking at, you don't have to analyze. Foot Locker puts win calls for Boston Resort. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we'll just take a look real quick. I like trading Foot Locker. Look at the stochastic here, even on the daily, is kind of just sort of already made its kind of big push here. And these are kind of some other levels that we looked at too recently. After this is like your 15 orb levels from the gap down. So that's kind of your big zone right there. That 45, 50 area, is gonna, might be some kind of heavy resistance on it. So just kind of keep an eye on that. Yeah. So puts might actually make sense on that. And then it's fun. It's actually fun to trade. We traded 15 orbs off of this one before. Trades really well. Kind of fell off of that volumetric resistance zone. Right now, it's back trying to try this pitchfork area. So if it can get above that, I think it could give you the push that you're looking for. So that is does have some potential on it. Let's see, Nudie Poo, yeah, ACB. Yeah, let's take a look. So ACB. Okay. So ACB is looking like a little kind of, right? So this was sort of the previous uptrend line. We broke down below that, couldn't get above the volumetric, resistance areas, and now it's just kind of blah. It looks like it might actually want to retest that 589 $6 level, right? So because Unicorn, hey, what's going on? Yeah, just choppy. Sorry guys, it's just have to dropped frames detected. Your quality may be affected. I might have to switch broadcast. Actually use that to broadcast through. On YouTube, but anyway, we'll work through that. So I'll try to get it as clean as possible. Let's see what else. Manoj, what's going on? Good, we're live. Good. Yeah, it's weird because I've got like the YouTube has like this control screen, and it shows that it's like in and out. I'm like, I don't know what everybody can see, so it's a little bit messy there. So. Good stuff. Manoj, yeah, good evening and happy Father's Day. Session, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Wendy, yo, how's it going? Good morning. Yes, if you're in Singapore. CGC, let's take a look at CGC. Wow, it looks like a lot like ACB, right? Kind of makes sense. So CGC has been really tough to trade. You can see I kind of got deep into it here. It gave a nice pennant at this fib fan line, and then started to move, and then kind of broke down below it, which got really annoying. And then it came back up and finally launched, right? So here, I thought I was going to do the same thing at this fib fan line, and tried, failed, couldn't get over volumetric resistance, and broke down. And so now it's not even getting above the fib fan line. So if anything, it's a possible short here to this kind of 38.51 level. I've got this kind of longer term pitchfork here, so it does have that kind of going, kind of happening. Then we've got earnings in a couple of days, so at the end of the week. So we'll see on this one, see what it does. It might push down, and then the earnings might be stellar or something like that. They might report like, I don't know, 1 million kilograms or whatever they do it in. So good, thanks, Calls. I'll appreciate it. Nikolai, what's going on, bud? Very laggy. I know. I'm so sorry. I don't know, maybe the broadcaster today or something like that. It looks like it's finally cleaning up a little bit, so I don't know why it does that. So you know what it is? I've upgraded my system, so I've got like the kind of the dual monitor, thing going on, and I had a bunch of charts pulled up, and so every time I click through on the charts, it takes up so much data that it must really kind of lag it. So I just closed those down and kind of consolidated it here. So hopefully that's a little bit better. So I apologize for that, guys. Jason, what's going on? Diz, we just took a look at Diz. We can take a little closer look at it here. I just want to kind of see it on this. Oh my goodness, I have so many orbs up here. Let me just remove the purple lines. Remove. Diz has just been so bullish. That was an accident. Remove. Diz has been so bullish recently, right? It's tough to It's tough to short, but you still have to go with the price action. So sorry for this mess right here. This is from our analysis on the Head and Shoulders. That was a sideways Head and Shoulders on Disney. Failed to break down. Failed to break down there. So let's just kind of look and see where we're at. Okay, this is the prior trend line that we had. We can change that now because we have a new all-time high. So that was the prior pivot low. So what we'll do is just move that trend line right here. Okay, so we got a fib arc or a fib fan line that's up here. So that served as resistance earlier, so it might serve as resistance again here. If it does pull back, there is kind of a gap down here, so just be careful. But as long as it holds this trend line, right, it still should be somewhat bullish. So MTCH, I just wouldn't buy up there. That's the only thing I'm saying. You know what I mean? If anything, it might be a short, but it's it'd be like a quick short. But okay, so MTCH is interesting. We've been tracking this on the pitchfork here. It pivoted off of this level, kind of moved down a little bit. Now it's kind of chopping a little bit at the upper pitchfork. We really got to watch the stochastic here. If this breaks down right below the 80 percentile, you might get a little bit of a push, maybe down to like that kind of that 66.50 level. And then RNG. It looks super bullish. I can actually draw a channel on this. It's so decent, right? So here, you're kind of there. This has been very bullish. So just be careful. It's starting to kind of break out of this channel. Wait, actually, no, let me get this. Hold on. The next pivot was here. Sorry, guys. There. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's zoom in there. So you're right at the bottom of that channel. So just be careful. If it breaks down any further. If not, then it might start to do what? Work its way back up the channel. So try to push there, back down to it, then it might work its way up. So maybe a 134 potential. In the next couple weeks, maybe by July. Kind of mid-July. And good. Session. Yeah, we're back. Sorry. Thank you. Time to break up Google. I know. This is so, YouTube just has so much allure to it, right? So, but so I think it seems to be going pretty fine right here. Alpesh, how's it going? Good to see you. Kalsal, Nefrai, Kalsal, Lebu, please. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. LabVIEW. A whole lot of nothing there, Netfry. I mean, it's got to get above 45, 45.50, maybe 45.75 to try to push. But right now, it is just in super consolidation zone. Now, that, from contraction, leads to expansion, right? So I mean, so it could, eventually, give a nice pop to the upside. But it's how long are we gonna have to wait, right? So that is looking kind of blah right now. And I don't know, was there a big lawsuit too about them, kind of coming out and saying they don't want to disclose their prices and commercials and all that stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Javier, what's going on? Good to see you. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. And Manoj, let's take a look at Netflix. Yeah, guys. So Netflix is interesting. I just kind of tweeted this out a little bit earlier, and it is just continuing to tap on these, this support zone, right? And so you can see we've talked about it before, right? We had to push through it right here, but then time looking at Netflix, and their options aren't even fun to trade anymore. Like, they had a 60 anchor the other day, and the spreads on the options, a few people profited from it, which is great, in the private Twitter, but it's I can't, the spreads being 10 cents, and it's just just as blah. And so, I like more, liquidity to the options. And so, if anything, I would look here if it pulls back to this kind of volumetric zone. It's right at, it has confluence right here at the fib fan line. So, like right around 330, it might be worth, a possible swing long, right? So, to keep with the theme of the week here. But yeah, so that's kind of where it's at. But, shorting right here too is tough because it's had such a move. Right, I mean the last several days here, right? So it's not quite oversold yet. So just kind of look, see if we can get a close under the Bollinger Band. If it did it like right here, that'd be so perfect, right at that volume level, and then like right around 330. Then I think it would be good for at least a short-term bounce. So that is Netflix. Message self review. Call what's up? So Microsoft going long the July 130s. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft's got a lot of merit to it. Just like the rest of the market has been, holding really well. I think this is a Shirley special too, because once it got back in that channel, right, it's been holding really well. So, it might consolidate a little bit more. It might even come down to like that 130, right, and then push. But yeah, if it does, I mean, this thing is ready to go. It could get up to like 144, which could be a nice move. So let's take a look at the Julys. Here's the Augusts. The July 19s. So here's your 130s. Yeah. So about 0.61. That's fine. And then here just I would just wherever you want to do it, but you don't want it to get below the channel too much, right? So just keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye, see how it handles that channel level, and then if it gives you a nice confirmation bar reversal off of it, then it looks like it could push pretty decent, work its way up that channel there. So that has some good potential on it. And it's Microsoft, right? Robin, no problem, my pleasure. Let's see. So session Facebook, the 719-200 calls look nice too. Yeah. So Facebook has been pretty interesting, guys. So this is one of those ones where you're like, oh, did I miss that? It was perfect. It gave I believe it was an inside day here, and then a nice doji sandwich. Right, here's your push. A double push, right? Doji sandwich, and then push back up again. So missing that was annoying, especially here. This was it, because it opened right kind of at this level, pushed down a little bit, and then once it broke that doji to the upside, it was such a great move. That was kind of a nasty day here. It's got a gap below now, but this is a downward trend line that we've been looking at. We've been stalking this for a while. So the downward trend line, if this breaks above it, right, then that's going to show should show a nice change in trend. So if it gaps up tomorrow, right, we'll look for kind of a minor pivot top, and then kind of see if it up, maybe down, it fills that gap, and then kind of gets above it. So, but yeah, this has been your trend line right here since the lows. So it's definitely been on the radar for sure. Shirley, what's going on? Oh, you got a good list tonight. Okay, good. So, and thank you for tuning in, everybody. If it's your first time tuning in, check out Shirley's list, because it's usually got some great stuff in it. So, and some gems too. We've seen some of them go like 1,000% just on a penny stock kind of ideas. So, yeah. So Facebook, Starbucks has been pretty phenomenal. Still got the uptrend going on here. In fact, it's not ending, and so congratulations, for holding there. So that is your new pivot point, and it is still bullish until proven otherwise. So those levels, look good. STOR. Yeah, not as bullish looking as Starbucks, but certainly working its way up. So definitely worth keeping an eye on. Here's your kind of longer term pivot, type thing there. So as long as it holds that, it's basically a channel too. So just be careful to pull back to the trend line. As long as it holds that trend line, it looks pretty good. Yum. Nice move, all-time highs. Got out of the pitchfork right there. So still looking pretty bullish on that. And let's see, AFL. Yeah, bullish. You can see it kind of had a flag right there. So there's that. There's your level. So yep, still holding its levels. Just be careful that that's not a bump and run for you. Just make sure to hold your trend line. If it breaks below that trend line, watch out, because there's your 30 degrees, 60 degrees, breaks down there. It has a really, really good chance of at least testing that. If it breaks below that, then it could be, nasty. So just be careful with Aflac. Let's take a look. We've got a couple more there. So let me just jump through two here. I'm going to jump down to Mandalese. Let me take that out. MDLZ. Nice push. Still got that uptrend that we drew the other day, so that is looking good. And then I want to look at KMX. They've got earnings coming up on Friday. CarMax. Summer selling season. It should be great, right? So, yep, still holding this upward trend line. Still looking good. Like I said, earnings on Friday. So, should be a very bullish bar, too, with that high at 84. So, definitely worth keeping an eye on. Michelle, how's it going? Let's take a look at Diz. We looked at it a little bit earlier, but maybe we'll see something different. Still up, still bullish. I don't like this gap below right here, so just be careful. That it's starting to tie these highs. It might push up a little bit, maybe 144, 145, and then look for a potential pullback at that point, right? So just be careful with that. Surely you've got so many. We'll take a look at one more. Let's look at ALK. Nice stuff. Like we've looked at this before, this Alaska Air. It is holding these this volumetric level. I think we looked at this when Thanson was online too. So that's kind of this long term, perfect like downtrend line, right? So just be careful of this. Surely, if it hits this bar and can't get over it, then it's likely to go back down and retest at least 58. So so just keep an eye on that. Okay. NetFry, no problem. My pleasure. Thank you guys for bearing with it tonight. Again, I've thought I upgraded the system where this would be a little bit smoother, but apparently the broadcasting software competes for a little more space, a little more stream space than with the Thinkorswim open in multiple windows. So, but good stuff. Oh, Javier, let's take a look. Melly. Yeah, it looks good. It's flagging up here, so that's good. Remember this here? We had that pennant, which broke up nicely to the upside. So here we kind of have this flag. So, yeah, I mean, Mercado Libre is something else, right? So if it breaks out those highs, it could get another push right there. This thing's just a monster. So just keep that in mind. Let's look at the daily, though. I just want to see how that's looking on the Bollinger Bands. There's your weekly. Yeah, this daily is a little bit ugly up here. If it could get over the highs, great. But if not, right, I mean, here's where we're at, right? This is the... This is this right here. There's your high. Go to your next pivot here. So we are breaking down below that. So if we break down below Friday's lows, then you could, see a push down, right? And it, remember, see here, when it closes over the upper Bollinger Band, that's sort of like a signal to be like, hey, maybe it's going to reverse, because here you see it closed above it, then it kind of pushed down again. Couldn't get above it until these areas, right? Tried to chop down a little bit, but this is finally the break of the trend line. And so, break of Friday's lows might actually come down to like this 588 level. So keep in mind. Otherwise, it's just sort of flagging up here and it's developing a base, and then wait for some moving averages to catch up, and then it'll keep kind of keep working its way. So good stuff. Good night, Call Saul. Appreciate you, man. Missed the contents on the swing trades. Sorry, Harvey, if that didn't come through. So, but basically on swing trades, really, really critical to look at your longer term charts, right? So before you swing anything, right, you want to make sure the setup looks good on your weekly chart. Make sure the monthly chart is conducive, and also depending how long you swing it, you can go to the quarterly chart and use that for guidance, right? So here's for instance quarterly chart on Melly, right? Yeah, it's very, very bullish up here, right? So that kind of gives a possibility, but kind of look what led to that, right? So we had this nice kind of flag pullback, right, on the quarterly chart, and once it broke through that 377 level, it just launched and kind of came back up. So you want to look at your longer term time frames before swinging, right? So that's kind of one of the key takeaways. Sorry if it got really laggy through there, but that's the idea. And then swinging, of course, is holding for at least overnight. Day trading is trading during the day, right? Swinging is overnight, at least one night, but usually for a week is kind of the idea. And so, but we'll go into a lot of those concepts a little bit more. And then I'm glad I think we might have gotten some of the streaming stuff figured out a little bit here. So hopefully it's a little bit clearer. And then this way we'll have a nice session tomorrow night. So I'm glad we got that figured out tonight. So when we have a guest tomorrow, it'll be nice and clear for everybody too. So good stuff. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Harvey. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I hope you guys have a great night, and looking forward to for trading with everyone this week. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube if you enjoyed the content. Also check us out on Twitter. We put free game plans out there and other stuff. And then also, if you really like it, check out the newsletter. We put that out every week, and for now, for the rest of the month, it still comes with the free private Twitter service, which eventually is going to get upgraded in July. And you guys are going to be so amazed at some of the cool stuff we're going to be doing. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great night, and remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk